Hi, this is Mark Rosen from WCCO TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend Ron Henderson, the Fitness King.
Hi, I'm Ron Henderson, better known as the Fitness King. On today's motivation, I happen to have the lovely and talented Angela Hebert. Welcome to Motivation.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're going to get up close and personal with Angela today. Angela has kind of an interesting story. Her life from, being a little heavy, losing weight. She's a motivational speaker and a personal trainer and actually a life coach as well. All right. Angela, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you actually where did you grow up? How did you get kind of started? Give us a kind of story on that.
Well, I'm not a Minnesotan. I'm originally from Ottumwa, Iowa. You know where Radar O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
I moved here in '91 for the snowstorm that when we had 31 inches of snow here.
Yeah.
I've been here ever since then. I'm married. I have 4 girls, a senior this year, 16, and twins that are 11 now. That's kind of where it started. I did daycare in my home for like 11 years. Then I went walking my twins one day. And I've had 3 C-sections too, so that goes all along with it. And that's where my weight gain came from.
Yeah.
Then I went walking my twins one day, and someone stopped me and said, "Oh, are those your grandbabies?"
Okay.
And I said, "Oh, no." And I was heavier at that time, and that was kind of a wake-up call for me. And one of my one daughter, KK, said that she didn't want to have kids because she saw what I went through with the C-sections, and then I had to get cut down the middle. I had a double hernia, so my
Okay, yes.
muscles split
Oh, yeah.
apart from
Oh,
the
yeah.
twins.
Mhm.
And so that's just kind of where it all started, that I came to the realization for my girls to be that example for them.
Mhm.
So a donut's more important to me than me taking care of my health.
Right.
And that's just really
How many
where it
years ago
started.
was that, if I can ask you?
About 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago, yep.
4 years ago, okay, you were overweight 4 years ago.
Yep. I was athletic in high school and stuff, but then with each baby in each C-section you gain weight. And then you do daycare and you have your total mochas for breakfast and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
have something at night and wondering why you're not losing weight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's my thyroid, or
Oh,
it's
yeah.
this.
Mhm.
And, I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing.
4 years, folks at home, you heard that, right? 4 years ago. Now, Angela, when I look at you, if I didn't know your story, I would find it hard to believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So continue.
And so then I started doing what they said you're supposed to do. Eat 5 meals, work out. And when I started in May of, I remember the year, but it was in May, before my birthday. And so I found a program where they had the food, so certain foods I didn't like, so I put in my foods. They had the weight lifting for you, and I just did it. Now, I weighed myself the first time, but that wasn't my concentration. It was just
Right.
me doing the work, listening to how my body felt,
Yeah.
and doing it. So the first month, nothing really happened. So I did weigh myself, and I shouldn't have did that. And then so I said, okay, I promise, no end in sight, just do it. And I had needed to do it for my kids. And so then all of a sudden, that second month, stuff started happening. Because you want to see some results.
So what started, folks at home, they want to know what started happening actually.
Well, I started having a change in my body. And I realized everybody's body is different, and I'm more solid heavy.
Oh, yeah.
So the scale was going to be heavier than what size of clothes I would wear.
Right.
They have those things where they have a person weighing the same size,
Yeah.
but one doesn't work out and one does, and
Exactly.
they look different.
Right, exactly.
So that was it, and so then I started taking it a little farther, but through all this, I didn't realize people were watching. Because people see people on TV, The Biggest Loser, lose weight, and the thing that people told me that was more like fighting words for me was that, oh, you're 40, oh, you'll never look like you did in high school.
Right, right.
Like I was supposed to accept it, and I've had twins, and I had the kids, but I couldn't accept that.
Right.
So I wanted to prove to people that I can do it without surgery. I've already had surgery how many times? 4 times. I didn't
Right.
want to go to the knife more, nor could I afford it. And so, that's kind of how it comes about now that people saw me do it. So then people started wondering how I did it.
Right.
And then that's where the help came in,
Okay.
where people wanted help from me. So
Okay. So what were you doing for work per se back then?
I was a daycare provider
Okay, daycare
for
provider.
14 kids.
14 kids, okay, 14 kids,
Yep.
okay. And, folks at home, because most people know I have a show also called Winning Workouts. She talked about that it's so important getting those small meals in.
Oh, yeah.
And the consistency and not really listening to people, because folks at home, I believe that 60 is the 40 is the new 60. And if you're 80, that's the new 60. We both have birthdays coming up in May. See, I think yours is what, 12, 13?
14.
Mine's a 15.
Yeah.
See, yes. See? And so, you're never too old to make that change. And you talk about shows like The Biggest Losers. Well, I find it hard to actually watch a lot of those kind of shows, because a lot of things that they do actually, it's for TV. They're injuring themselves. They put their body in kind of precarious positions. So workout-wise, back then you were eating, what were you doing? Because I know you have a thing now called Faith in Fitness, and I want to get into that.
Okay. Well, I was working out at home at first, doing videos and different things, and then I got licensed to teach this class called Lesno's Pump, and it was light weights, high repetition.
Yep.
And so I started doing that and saying different things in the house, because you're kind of scared to go
Yep.
out in an
Yep.
environment where, you know. And so then I was like, oh my gosh. So since I did this and people were asking for help, people were coming to my house to work out, I wanted to offer more. And the ladies are afraid of weights, and this was perfect for them because it taught them the form and the right thing to do, and it was fun.
Right.
So I got a church over south that I used to teach free workouts. And I got the money together to get the equipment, and that's just kind of where it stemmed from. I kept really quiet at first, but the main point is I wanted people to know that they could do it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
like the classes are modified. People have such a thing now, they first think, I can't.
Right.
You know, because of maybe some disability or bad knees or something, but there's all type of things you can do,
Right.
regardless of what your limitations are. And so that's what I try to teach people now, that I give the free classes, because I try to give them no excuse.
Right. Right.
But it's baby steps, and people need to know that someone cares, and that's just kind of where it comes from, because I've done it.
Right.
And I
And
feel
why
it.
do you care?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because back then when I was, you know, you always think you're happy until you go back and look at pictures. That's why it was really hard for me to take pictures at first to see yourself before and
Oh, yeah.
after.
Oh, yeah.
But it's crucial, because that's what, you need to see the change in your body
Oh, yeah.
and in your face. And people don't realize, like, people think they're happy, but food, the right food and fuel in your body
Right.
is totally different than eating other things. And that's why I have that little, so I have like the whole package for people. Like there's a food program, there's a support, the accountability, and then there's the workouts. And I do little free videos and different things. It's just getting people to realize that being healthy is not a chore.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It needs to be part of our lifestyle.
Right.
Just like
Definitely.
getting up, and we have 5 minutes in the morning. So that's just the overall thing that I try to get people to believe. And it's really a belief system, because when you start the journey, and I don't tell them that, but when they start the journey, they think it's about food and nutrition.
Right. Right.
It's a deeper, thing. You know, you start healing the inside and out, because it's years of how we're brought up,
Right.
and the food we eat, and it's, you know, trying to change that.
Right.
But change it so it suits your lifestyle.
Right. Because you have faith and what is it?
Fitness.
Fitness and faith. I got faith and
I know.
fitness. which is kind of funny. I actually, folks know, I met Angela at a Black Women's Expose in St. Paul. And she had a booth behind mine, and I saw her picture and stuff, and I heard about her from a couple ladies that were training with you. I said, I gotta meet this lady. And I said, I gotta meet your husband. And I just found her to be fascinating. I found her to be full of energy. And the first thing I told her was, I'd love to have you come on my show. I want to interview you. Because even, you know, being a personal trainer for over 36 years, people get things confused. People are too afraid to showcase other people because they look at people as competition. But if you're really in this to win it and help other people, you want to encourage all people to exercise. And so listening to your story and seeing you, I couldn't believe that you were as heavy as you said you were. So that's why I have you on today. And I think the listening people listening, an audience, they need more motivation. So when you have women, I know you have men too, but when you have women come to you, what is probably the number one thing that drives them to you?
Oh, well, the faith and fitness.
Right.
The faith part. And the faith part for me is just, you know, people really have a hard time of believing in themselves.
Right. Yep.
And I automatically believe in you from the very beginning.
Right.
Because there's something you can do.
Oh yeah.
And so it's getting people to at least try.
Right.
You know, everyone says, I can't do push-ups. There's different ways you can modify
Oh, yeah.
everything where you can do that. And so it's just getting that belief system. But it has been the faith and fitness in that I talk to them. You can text me, or, you know, I'm available.
Right.
And then I have a private page on Facebook that ladies join. I have like over 300 people on there.
And what is the page site? What is it? Can you give out the information on that too?
Well, it's private,
Okay,
so I don't know if
right.
you'll see it. It says
Okay.
is Angela's 30-day challenge that keeps on going.
Okay. Do you have a contact information
Yes.
right now that you can give out to the audience?
You can either go to www.angelasfaithandfitness, and it's Angela's, it's an N, lowercase n, and fitness, or my phone number is 763-843-0282. And on Facebook, I'm Angela Winston Hebert, and Hebert is Hebert.
Okay, now folks at home, you know I'm always teasing you, all right? I'm gonna have her give you the number again, so give you time to put your chips down, okay? Put those potato chips down, and put that glass of beer or wine you got down. Give them the information one more time.
Okay.
All right, get your pens out. Okay.
Phone number is 763-843-0282. My website is www.angelasfaithandfitness, and it's Angela's ANGELAS, lowercase n, FITNESS.com, fitness.
Sounds good. And I'm Ron Henderson, the Fitness King. If you just tuned in, I have my lovely guest, Miss Angela Hebert. She's a personal trainer, motivational speaker, and a life coach. She's sharing a little bit about her success story. You were talking about you were very heavy, you lost a lot of weight, and I was talking to you too as well, Angela, about what really makes you different. You're talking about the faith, the fitness and faith part of it. Okay,
What makes me different?
right.
Oh, because I've been there, and I've felt. I am a member at different clubs, and I would never go into the group classes
Right.
because I felt different.
Yep.
Or not as capable, and so I understand how they feel. And when people say they can't, I know they can. Oh, I don't eat that. I was a person who never ate fish.
Right.
Well, when I had to train for competitions, I liked tilapia.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
I pronounce it wrong this time, but so to say you can't, I know you can. It's just
Right.
finding a different way to cook it or whatever. And like water is like the easiest thing to drink. Everyone says, "Oh, I can't do that,"
Right.
And so I know they can because I've lived it. And so it just takes baby steps for them to begin to believe in themselves. And I just want them to feel good. It's not about a weight for me in the scale. It's about having them really living their best life
Right.
and being able to
Amen.
feel good. And most people don't. We give in you go to different things, parties people have. It's teaching them that they can eat healthy, but then when they go on vacation,
Right.
you can eat whatever within reason, but then you can come back and get back on it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's getting it to be a lifestyle, not a diet.
Right,
I always say
exactly.
diet to die.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many quick fixes. You gotta learn how to eat real food and exercise.
Right,
And
I
that's
agree.
just it. There's no other, it comes back to that. And so, if you learn how to do that over time, the weight stays off, you start to feel better. And for me, I have 4 girls and they're all active. I learned to not be at the park and not sit on the bench.
Right, I agree. I agree.
To be able to be
I agree.
active. So,
I agree. And folks at home, when you listen to her story, think about the days, I'll be 62, but think about the days when we grew up, we would come home with holes in our
Yeah.
pants. Now, you drive around the city now and you look at kids walking around, if they got holes in their pants, that's because they're wearing $100-some jeans. It isn't because they're out in the park. They're sitting up there on their iPad
Yeah.
all day,
Yeah.
and it's extremely different. And it really has to be a lifestyle. And you're talking about the diet. When I did my book, Fitness and Faith, one thing I used to talk to people about is I said the best diet is, I said die flush. I say it real quick, die flush. But I'm really saying diet of the flesh. Because you have to work on it. How important is feeling better? Okay? How important is it? Now you get the benefits of looking better in those things, but it's really about, like you said, it's a lifestyle. You have to make a commitment towards your health. And we talk about it too, spiritual health, physical health, so that you can be around longer for the later years. Now, nobody knows the time when they're going to pass, but what do you folks at home, what do you want the quality of your physical life to be like while you're living? And that's what we're talking to Angela about. Typically speaking, when do you have your classes?
I teach, we're at Breck School on Sunday nights. I have a boot camp. I teach there at 5 p.m. That's free.
Boot camp, folks, that sounds scary.
But it's with battle ropes.
I was in the Marine Corps. Boot camp,
No,
that sounds scary.
It's not scary.
No, I'm
So
messing with
that's, people think that, and so I don't say that.
I know, that's why I said it.
Yeah, it's called Fun in the Sun.
Fun in the sun.
So you come and some people do bleachers, some people do the hills, but I find something for you to do. Wednesdays, I'm at North Point. That's at 5:30, that's free. Saturday mornings, I'm at Pilgrim Lutheran Church. That's 3901 Stevens Avenue South, The church has a school, so we're in the gym.
Yeah.
That's all about weights. It's light weights, high repetition. We do our whole body to music. And here's the big deal about my classes. Everyone welcomes you. So you never come there, and I've kind of taught ladies that.
Sure.
So you don't ever feel like you're scared to go in there.
Right, out of
People's
place.
looking at
Oh,
you're
yeah.
out of place. You're never out of place. People
Right.
welcome you.
Right.
I had a lady come to one class, and I always take a group picture at the end. She said, "Well, I haven't earned it. You're here."
Right.
You know, and we call it, they call it breakfast. Come to breakfast at 7 a.m. I'm at Title Boxing. I teach boxing. That first time's free. And then I do some things online that are free, like all about abs we did in January. And so the whole thing is that, you know, the way the world is today, you can find the exercises to do, if it's not me or someone else. And I try to say that, so I'll be 50 on Saturday.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you, you
Early.
too.
Happy birthday.
You're supposed to as we get older, we know better, we have to do better.
Right, should.
You know, and my motto, if you ask people, that I always say is that you do you. So that's like even coming to my classes. If something that it's difficult for you to do, then you need to let me know, and then you
Right.
do you. And then
Right,
you don't
right.
feel so stressed about, oh, she's doing it, I'm not. And no one's
Right.
really looking at you, because we're all on the same journey together.
Right,
Just a
exactly.
different path we're walking.
Exactly.
you know?
Now, I have to ask you this, because when people, there's a lot of things on TV that I can't watch because I see different boot camps, and there's all these professional things that people do, and they're lifting heavy tires, and if you look at people, really look at them, half the time, by the time they're getting towards the end of the course, they're straining their backs, they're lifting improperly. How do you stay on guard for that so that people aren't doing things incorrectly like that?
Well, I teach all my participants. It's not about the weight and a certain exercise for me. Form is more important than anything,
Right.
because people can hurt themselves.
Right.
So when people say, Angela, I'm gonna do this 100 squats a day. For me, if you're really, so I think of our body as we get older, I wanna protect my joints. And so doing 100 squats every day,
Right.
you're overusing it.
Yes.
And so my husband's my DJ too on Saturdays.
Okay.
And so he watches
Right.
people if they don't have the right form.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't signal people out, but I'll repeat it over and over, you know, chest out, back
Good,
straight.
good. Now, do your kids come too?
Yeah, they do.
Now, see, folks at home, the reason I'm asking, because she's talking about, okay, she said, this, North Point, she said, I'm like, girlfriend, you're married, when do you have time for your,
Yeah. But it's during their time, and like the girls are
Good,
in
good,
sports,
good,
and it's,
good.
you know, it's just that hour in the morning.
Right, so folks at home, you can do it too.
Oh, yeah, there's time,
Yeah.
you know, you just have to find, you have to have it part of your schedule,
Right.
like brushing your teeth. Like one lady, I told her the other day, she's like, my balance is kind of off, and I said, well, while you're brushing your teeth, you can stand on one leg, practice balance.
Right.
I mean, there's just ways to do it,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you really want it. It's just, the main thing is I try to motivate people to want it,
Right.
because life happens,
Oh, yeah.
and it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
And life will continue to happen. So somewhere in there, we have to learn what the triggers are that make us fall off.
Right. Folks at home, Angela Hebert, she has my recommendation. That's right. You heard it. You don't hear me recommend people that often, but I love talking with Angela because she's right on about what she's saying. She's not full of herself. She's full of helping you, and that's so important because you have a very, very humble attitude in for being at this relative, you know, if you said 4 or 5 years or whatever, there's some wisdom in the things that you talk about. I've been telling people this for years, and I meet a lot of trainers. I've tried hiring people. They don't have it. They don't have an understanding of it, okay? And it seems like there's something, I think you probably, as well, you have a God gift as well for what you do.
Can I say something?
Yes.
So as trainers, I was working somewhere, I was doing my intern, I think LA Fitness, doesn't matter. There was a lady there, and she was telling me about a friend of hers who her back is totally messed up because she was doing squats.
Oh, yeah.
And she can't do anything now.
Oh, yeah.
Like she had to have surgery.
Oh, yeah.
And I went home and told my husband on that day, I said, we're messing with people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
It's serious business. It's never about the money for me. And I don't charge like that.
Right.
And I try to make it affordable for
Yep,
people,
yep.
that people that can't do it and that really
Oh, yeah.
want it. But that's where your clients need to know that knowledge of their body too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because you can hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was like a real wake-up call for me. It's like, oh, wow, you know, so.
Oh, yeah. That's smart, because I tell clients as well that it doesn't matter how correctly you're doing something, if it doesn't feel right with your body, then we need to check that, okay? You may not be in a position right now to be able to do that, so hold back, maybe try it 3 months from now, slowly see, how's it affecting your body right now, okay? How's it affecting your body then? But it's so important because you're gonna, no matter how much you watch somebody, you know your body better than anybody.
Absolutely.
At least you should.
Yep.
Okay, so where do you see your business going right now?
It's going many places, I'm just following the path, you know.
I'm waiting for that book. You writing a book?
No, I have my food program in a book.
Oh, yeah,
I
'cause
need
I'm
to have
always
that in a
encouraging
book.
people.
I tell my husband I feel something really good is going to happen, but I just listen to the Lord and I follow the path I'm led.
Right. Now, your husband, he works out too, pretty regularly?
Yeah, but he's ex-military.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude. She's married a good-looking dude. He look like me, he's bald.
He's bald. So he's 20 years, and he was a drill sergeant, and so, you know, he does a little bit, and he's very active, but, he's like, he does a little bit.
Right, you know, and I'm gonna put out a push for Angela. I know why they should call you, and folks, but look, you know I can't train everybody.
We can't,
Yeah.
none of us can.
I can't train everybody, and I want to see you get the results that you need. So, again, Angela, give the number out again one more time.
763-843-0282, and that's my cell phone.
Right, and when you call Angela, you're gonna get a woman that has been there, that had a lot of weight, lost the weight by being practical, using common sense, training correctly, getting all those small meals in, drinking plenty of water, all those kind of things. And it's even, I tell people this even right now, Angela, people think they need certain things because they've been conditioned to do that. So you go, you have the hamburger, you feel like you gotta have the pop with it. That's just all conditioning.
Yeah.
And you get used to drinking more water, have it be a primary source of anything is water. Get up in the morning, get your water, keep it in you, keep your body, you know, just fill your body up, okay? Period.
Yeah.
So before you leave today's show, say one thing that you think might motivate a man or woman that's out there today to take that next step towards better health and fitness.
Gosh, there's so many things.
One thing.
One thing is that,
Maybe folks, we'll let it say two
okay,
things.
okay.
We'll let it say two
Well, you always think you're in a bad place.
Mhm.
There's always someone worse off.
Yep.
You know, I work with people who have MS and fibromyalgia and different aches and pains, and those are the people that are fighting for their life. And you know, you have a purpose to be here, and I don't feel everyone's living their best life yet.
Right.
And I want people to feel that. So tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
You don't want any regrets for not, and especially in Minnesota, we live here, there's lakes and there's everything to do.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you do, you just need to move your body more than sitting.
Okay,
So
you hear that?
my grandmother would tell me, and when she told me when I was little, I was like, oh, that's mean. If you was laying around sitting or whatever, she's like, what are you sleeping for? You sleep when you're dead.
Right, oh yeah.
And we're supposed to live, and you just want to live and feel good. So go on the feeling, because I work with a doctor at North Point, and his thing is exercise is medicine.
Oh yeah, oh
And
yeah.
that's a doctor saying.
Oh, yeah.
it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
If he could give any prescription, exercise is
Oh,
the
yeah.
best
Oh,
medicine.
yeah.
So.
And I say here all the time, on motivation and winning workouts, if you can move, that's right, folks, you can improve. Now, you know what? Angela talked earlier, as we closed down the show, folks at home, you heard her talking about she just loves to help anybody. So I do this all the time, I'm gonna put her on the spot. Angela,
Yes.
would you come back and be a guest on my show,
I'd
winning
love to.
workouts, and just share a few tips of, some things for the audience?
I'd love to.
You heard that, folks?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're my witness, Angela's coming back. So, folks at home, again, with me, Angela Hebert. She's a motivational speaker, personal trainer, and life coach. I want to just say thanks for tuning in to
Thank you.
Motivation, Angela.
Love it.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. And folks
yourself first in all that you do. How do you catch these principles? Look at what you do with your finances. Apply it to your life. Apply it to your health. It's going to change you almost overnight. Anybody here have a bank account? Raise your hand. That should be everybody. Raise your hand. How many people have ever met with an investment banker? Raise your hand. Or a financial planner? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to be your health planner today. I'm going to talk to you about depositing into your health bank account by paying yourself first. How do you do that? Whenever you think of an excuse for not to exercise, think about the later years in life. Think about playing with your grandkids. Think about being 70 and being able to run, being able to leap tall buildings with a single bound. The only way to do that is to prepare for it. Monday's paper, there was a guy, somebody brought me a photo of this guy. They said, how old do you think this guy is? I looked and, I'm looking. I've been a trainer for a long time. I don't know, 68, 73 years of age, 98 years of age. I said, wow. And then I read the story twice, by the way, and he's using the principles that I talk about. When I was speaking over 8 months ago, a guy came up to me. He comes up to me like this, and he's walking like this. How old do you think I am? And I looked, and I said, I don't know. I'm 82, he says like that. And I says, that's what I'm talking about. 82, feeling fit. Pay yourself first. Decide whether it's walking, whether it's running. And remember, always check with your doctor. You always got to go to your doctor, find out what are my limitations, what can I do physically, then take action. Biking, walking, whatever it is. And by the way, most people actually know how to eat. Most people know what they should do because we're bombarded every day on TV with those things. But what is the catalyst to get you to actually take action? Think about the later years. It's all right to think about financial fitness and all those things, but start thinking physically fiscal.